Hi, I'm Sharon O'Leary-Martin, and I'm going to be answering a couple of questions for He Said, She Said for recess about loss. The first question comes from Brian in Los Angeles. He said, "It's been a few years since I went through a loss in my family, and it still feels so hard. What advice would you give to keep staying strong when you've lost hope?" Okay, that's a great question, Brian. So my personal belief is that, and it's really cliche, is that time heals all wounds. And the only reason I say that is because it's been about 6 years since I lost my dad, who I was very close with, um, but still kind of had slightly a difficult relationship with. But I say that because every year it does get a little bit less painful. I remember the first year basically felt like my heart breaking over and over and over again every single day. That first year, I'm not even kidding. It was really difficult. I had never felt that kind of pain before in my life, that kind of hurt. And I'm not smiling because it was a good experience or anything like that. I'm smiling because I'm here today and still living and still going and still breathing and have found so much love for life and thankfulness for life and all of those things. And I guess the best thing I can say is that to not lose hope and to stay strong is to think about the really good memories that you have of this person. Think about all of the happy things. Don't think about the fact that you've lost them. Think about, like, my favorite thing to do with my dad was to go fishing. Or, he sold suits at one point, and I would go visit him at work a lot. We did a lot of road trips, and I think a lot about his bear hugs and how much I miss those. But the fact that I got to experience him and experience those things, that brings me joy, and that gives me hope and love and all of those things, if that makes sense. Um, the other thing is that even though they may not be here and present, um, they are watching over you. And I think about that a lot because I think about him watching over me and what I would he be proud of who I am becoming and who I am. And I know for a fact my dad would be so proud of who I am and who I've become because I went through this loss of him and this hardship, and my life felt like it just, you know, was turned upside down. But it gave me an appreciation for a lot of things that I never would have been appreciative of if I hadn't gone through something like that. Um, so just, I think, keep that in your mind, whenever you're feeling really low or whenever you feel like that pain or whatever it may be, just go like, what can I be thankful for today? And would they be proud of me for where I am now compared to where I was? I hope that helps, Brian. Second question is, I had a close friend who was there for me before I went through a death in my family, but since then she has distanced herself and no longer reaches out. Why can't she support me? And that comes from Amy in Los Angeles, which is a great question, Amy. Okay, so this is such a good question. People don't usually know how to respond when you lose someone, whether it be someone who's close to you or someone who is just a part of your family but you're not close to, or just some, like, when you've lost someone. People do not know what to do. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to respond. Some people have a natural comforting gene inside of them. It's not a gene, but you understand what I mean. There are people who have a natural ability to just comfort and know what to do, whatever that may be. Comforting, not necessarily like hugging or cuddling, but they bring you food. They distract you. they do whatever possible. There are people who just naturally are really good at that, and there are other people who aren't really good at that. Um, so I think, the best thing to do would be just to kind of be the bigger person in a way and show your friend some grace, because she clearly doesn't quite know how to respond to you or how to help you in any way. Because if she hasn't experienced a loss in her life, then she definitely doesn't know. I have been through that experience. Before my father passed, I had a friend of mine who lost a very important person in her life, and it did not register, and I was not a good friend to her. And today, knowing what I know now, I wish that I could have been better for her. Um, so I think, if anything, you now have a completely different view of the world, and you have been given the gift of compassion that a lot of people who haven't experienced loss, um, you now have that. And it is an incredible gift to have compassion, because it really changes your life, and it changes your world, and it changes a lot of things, and it changes your view on people a little bit. So I know it's difficult because you're the one who's going through the difficult time, and you're the one who is hurting. But sometimes you gotta like put on your big girl britches, big boy britches, whichever, be the bigger person, and reach out to that person and be like, hey, I just need a movie night. I just need chocolate. Can we talk? Or I just reach out to her and say, like, I just need someone to listen. Can you listen? And if she's not capable of that, you can kind of just be like, okay, great. And then you will have the decision to somewhat distance yourself from that person if necessary, or just know that that's not the person that you go to for comforting. I hope that helps. Um, just, you have to keep an open mind, have a different perspective, things like that. I've had to learn these things. I've had to think about these things a lot. And so, because I have had a few losses in my life, and people usually, if they don't, they grieve differently. Everybody grieves differently, so they don't know what to do and they don't know what to say. So we just have to kind of learn to forgive people for those things. And that's all I can say about that. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that those answers helped in any way. I hope they didn't confuse you, and I hope that you do stay open-minded, and that your perspective does open up.